Hello, my name is Mage and welcome to Black and White Thinking. Lady Gaga is going to be playing Harley Quinn, and boy do I have some thoughts.
Hi everybody, this is Lady Gaga. Hi everybody, this is Jesus Christ.
Okay, so hi guys, welcome back, welcome. If this is your first time here, you should probably pick another video. This one is going to be more rant than video essay, so I hope you don't judge me too badly. For those of you that don't know, this week it was announced, after weeks of speculation, that Lady Gaga is going to be playing, as far as we know, Harley Quinn, which, if my sentence ended there, I wouldn't need to upload this video, but it doesn't. Lady Gaga is going to be playing Harley Quinn in a Joker film, in Joker 2, as in Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, in Joker 2, Folly Ado. That's another thing I talk about on this channel. Mental health issues. Boy, this video is going to be fun. So, as someone that is a Harley Quinn fan to an obsessive degree, and is also a Lady Gaga fan to an obsessive degree, I feel like I need to talk about how I feel, and more specifically, what I feel like might be the ramifications of this particular film. I feel like it would kind of be weird if I didn't address it. Originally, this video was going to be a whole other video. I have a lot to say about Batgirl being cancelled too, and DC's general treatment of women and female characters at the moment. Originally this was all going to be one big video, but in this video we're going to talk Lady Gaga. In another video we're going to talk Batgirl and the HBO Max merger in general. Because if I made them into one ranting video I would be here for like 3 hours. So, Gaga. Let's go back to the beginning. I'm going to have to get personal with this one. Sorry. Bear with me. I hope all this vague trauma dumping makes some sense in the end. Right, so I've explained on this channel many times that I've been a fan of Harley for years, like a really long time, pre-Margot Robbie, which is not me trying to flash some stanning card, it's just me trying to explain the kind of history I have with DC. I grew up on comics. My family are comic people. It's something I shared with my father. It's something I still share with my father. And as a young girl, Harley was specifically really, really important to me. And she still is to this day. This is because I have a type. And my type is essentially...
Actually, can I have 5 more of these little blonde bitches?
I remember the first time I heard Just Dance by Lady Gaga. And I remember just as clearly Gaga herself at the Born This Way ball, asking the audience, which I was in the pit because I'd camped outside of the stadium for 2 days, if we could remember the first time we heard Just Dance. And I remember it so clearly. The first time I heard Just Dance was my first girlfriend. We were really young. She showed me Just Dance. Hey, I found this new song with this incredibly cool girl in it. And I was like, hey, I know her. She's the girl that sings Paparazzi. And well, the rest was history. I'm a really big Gaga fan, and that's not like an understatement. I am a little monster through and through, and Lady Gaga's kind of my exception to many stanning rules. I don't like parasocial relationships, especially as I get older. I think they're kind of stupid. I had some very intense stanning issues when I was a teenager because I didn't have any real friends. So as an adult, it's important to kind of acknowledge that behavior. Not when it comes to Gaga. Gaga can't do anything wrong, even when she does things wrong. She is a inherently good person who I will probably support through the worst fucking things. I once sat outside a hotel that she was staying in for like 2 days. This is separate to the stadium, these are 2 different incidents. It was her mum's birthday and she couldn't come out and meet us all one by one. So she sent us all down a letter after saying hi and some treats, and it was one of the greatest moments of my life, still to this day. Here is a picture of me on my 16th birthday with Coke cans in my hair like the telephone video. Here is me a 1.5 years later with Harley Quinn hair. And here is a picture of me, like I said, with that letter. That's me, and that's Lady Gaga's signature. So yeah, big Gaga fan, big Harley fan, and ideally, Harley Quinn being played by Lady Gaga should be the greatest thing that I've ever heard, because Gaga can play Harley. Gaga could play Joker, and would honestly probably be a better Joker than she was Harley. I would kill to see Gaga as Jo as the Joker. Anyway, Gaga is a great actress. She's always been a great actress. She takes her job very seriously on every level. There are very few performers on the planet that take being a performer as seriously as Lady Gaga does. And she's also incredibly empathetic. She has always been a heart-led person. And so I trust her with Harley. I also really appreciate that she is openly bisexual, like Harley is.
I know that everyone thinks that, like, when I said I was bi, like, years ago, everyone was like, oh, she's just saying it for attention, and then everybody was bi, but I actually am bi.
And if Gaga finally wins her acting Oscar for playing Harley Quinn, well then I guess I was right about something all those years ago, yeah? However, here comes the but. Well, here comes multiple buts. But the first and the most important is the Joker film is really bad. Now, I know that might be an unpopular opinion, but Joker was a really bad film, guys. And I know, again, like, this is just my opinion. If you liked it, then fine. But as someone that grew up poor, who grew up white and poor, I will never forgive the media stance around that film. I hate it. And I hate the discussion, more importantly, around the... Whilst thinking about making this video and ranting about Gaga, I went and found my original notes on the Joker movie, which I made back when the film first came out. I was going to make a video on it all the way back then, but I thought I'd save you all the rambling. But here we are, so I'm going to talk about it. So I don't know who remembers this, but when Joker came out, it was kind of cited as this anti-establishment take for the common man, right? And every poor or once poor little white boy on the internet jumped at the chance to talk about how Joker represented their struggle. As if the Joker film, the film, was some sort of Ken Loach piece on how class can destroy a generation. And it's not. It's so not that. It's so far from that it makes me angry that people sell it as that. Because, like, I grew up around those types of men, and they don't need the excuse of this film. Class is not an excuse to be a psychopath. I'd tell my brother that, I do, and he'd agree with me. My issue with the Joker film is that it feels like one long masturbating shot of just Todd Phillips' inner demons. I don't really want to get into all the headlines at the time. I really don't want to talk about Joker the film too much. But at the time, Todd Phillips, who made the film, was kind of a dick to anyone that had any minor criticism of the movie. And no offense, he doesn't get to Joe Roganify the experiences of poor white people in his comic book movie and then use that rage to try and inspire some sort of uprising through art. The Joker was not a celebration of the lower class. It was not an interesting piece on how people with mental health issues are being neglected in society. It was a movie made by a pseudo-incel who wanted to inspire more pseudo. And I know that because I even made notes at the time, not just talking about how shitty I thought the movie was, like how weird it is that Zazie Beetz is his love interest. I know she's not, she's his love interest, and that's the whole plot twist, but well, that was weird. She's way younger than Joaquin Phoenix. All my notes talking about how Joker's origin story shouldn't be that he has his welfare cut and that he stops taking his meds. Or my note on the worst line maybe in film history I've ever heard, which is, I'm not political, I just want to make people laugh. I also made notes on some male reactions to the film at the time, because that was the thing that really got to me. There was one particular reaction, and I'm not going to name the YouTuber because he's got way more followers than I have, and I actually really like his content generally, and I don't want beef. I just don't agree with him on this. Who, at the time of the Joker being out, reviewed it, and he reviewed it asking the question, is the Joker a villain? And just so we're all clear, yes, the Joker is a villain. Any film that portrays the Joker as sympathetic to the poor white man's cause is doing things wrong. It's doing things dangerously. Like, whoo. I feel like I'm like living in feminist hell right now. I feel like I shouldn't have to explain why this is a bad idea, but here we are. It's why I didn't want to make the video in the first place, right? It shouldn't be this hard to understand why the Joker's framing, Joker the film, the framing of Joker the film, is so terrible, and why Harley shouldn't be brought into that equation. If Joker had been a film that was just about any man descending into madness because of these things, then fine, but it wasn't. It was a film about Joker, who again is a villain. And he cannot be redeemed through white male sadness on screen. This this is what annoys me. Any film that wants to call itself a film that represents class, which the Joker did many times, which people advocated for many times, saying that they truly thought it was a raw representation of what it's like to be neglected by society, cannot genuinely want to be taken seriously if they choose their vessel of that empathy to be Joker. Like, how am I supposed to take that seriously? How did anyone take that seriously? Again, this isn't a story where Joaquin Phoenix plays some random dude. He's playing Joker, which brings us to the issue here of Harley Quinn. Now, I know people are kind of the assumption that Harley Quinn is doing right at the moment because, you know, she's fucking everywhere. But the presentation of Harley in the comics, in animation, on screen is far from good. Harley is censored in the comics. She has been massacred to be rewritten as a pseudo Batgirl, and her character is erratic and not in a Harley Quinn way, but in a badly plotted way. The animation is consistently on the brink of being cancelled, and no one fucking cares about it anyway, like in the grand scheme of things. The Harley Quinn animated show itself is just seen as the silly, funny, satirical arm of DC, and Harley's appearances in any other animations, well, we're not even going to go there. Harley's live action appearances have been tragic. Suicide Squad was offensive. The Suicide Squad was offensive. Birds of Prey was butchered to an inch of its life, and I still maintain to this day that that was supposed to be a Gotham City Sirens movie, and that Birds of Prey was supposed to be a separate movie, and the two got mashed together. I still think it makes more sense for so-called Cassandra Cain in that film to be a young Selena Kyle. But they would never age down Selena because then she couldn't date Batman. Harley does not get the treatment she deserves, and she's definitely not going to get it in a Joker film. The first Joker film did nothing for women, as we just discussed. It was about, apparently, according to Russell Brand of all people, maleness. I'm not convinced that Harley won't be used as anything other than a prop. And not only will she be used as a prop, but this is the biggest Oscar bait I've seen DC attempt in a long time. That's why they are making Joker 2, because Joker 1 did so well in that regard. Oh man, I'm trying to be coherent, but I'm like so upset that this is even happening that I can't form any real thoughts. It's kind of like this, right? I really appreciate Gaga, buy Harley, and all the wonderful things that could bring us. But there's also desperate Oscar bait spectacle Harley that will further cement to normies how little Harley means, that she's just Joker's girlfriend. That will be really, really bad for queer, crazy women, and I take that personally, no offense. And it's just like, DC are never, ever gonna let Harley truly exist outside of a man. Because if it's not the Joker, then apparently now it's Bruce. If she's not the Joker's girlfriend, she's a member of the Bat family. And I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of it. Do you guys know what folie à deux means? It means a shared madness, the madness of two. And the last thing the world needs is another mad love retelling. Especially one written by a man who doesn't give two craps about bi women, especially bi women with mental health issues, which, spoiler, statistically is most of us. And people may say I'm overreacting with this, but what you have to understand is that Harley is single-handedly the most famous bisexual character with mental health issues in the world right now. Like, Harley Quinn is recognizable. She has become a superstar in her own right, even though DC won't let her detach from the Joker. And she's in people's living rooms now. She is a household name. She's definitely gonna be a household name after she's played by Lady Gaga. And just to have another shitty representation of Harley written by another shitty man who doesn't actually give two shits either about the character or the people that she reflects, represents, and those that relate to her. I'm just over it. There is no Gaga in the world that can bring me around to thinking that Harley's gonna get a fair shot in this movie. Because again, any minor research done on the Joker movie can tell you that Todd Phillips really wanted to represent a very specific demographic in that movie. A demographic that should be allowed nowhere near Harley Quinn. Jesus. Like, if they want to make a mad love retelling, then make Harleen and then let Cedric finish his comics. It is absolutely insane. Also, that we have another live action Harley and she is not going to be on screen with Ivy. And to be fair, I don't fucking want her to be in this film because if Ivy comes near this Joker universe, I might actually gouge my own eyes out. But it's just a joke. You have James Gunn who thinks it's appropriate to make jokes about rape lesbians in charge of Margot Robbie now. You have two guys running Harley Quinn who refuse to say the word bisexual because they think it's woke. You have Harley and Ivy being severed at every point in the comics purposely. You have another ableist horror story about how Harley and Joker are just crazy for each other and she's daddy's little monster. Like, this stuff is so dangerous. And look, I don't give a shit, right? Like, you can make what you want. I like my fiction gnarly. I don't want things to be clean, and I definitely don't want things to be censored. I just want things to stop being so fucking patriarchal and controlled by, no offense, Jack Black voice, the man. As hard as it's going to be to try and be positive about this, I'm going to try. I want good things for Gaga, and I want good things for Harley. And I do actually, side note, believe that Joaquin Phoenix is probably one of the greatest actors of his generation. Swing away, Meryl. But yeah, as someone that is writing this as I sit on disability benefits because I have a debilitating mental illness, the Joker is not about those things. The Joker was about male entitlement. It was not about class, which is why I have very little hope for Folie à Deux. And just, oh God, sorry, I can't even finish there. It's just the mental health issues of it all gets to me as well, because it's like that time that Jimmy and Amanda have diagnosed the Joker in canon with borderline personality disorder. You are playing with things that you do not fucking understand. And as someone whose entire life has, not just my adult life, but my childhood, like my entire life has been torn apart because of these mental health issues. And to always see these Hollywood fucking weirdos using what I can only describe as personal tragedy as plot fodder is just so fucking irritating. There is such an interesting story there about Joker and Harley. I just mentioned Harley. If any of you read it, it's really good. And it's a really good retelling of Mad Love. Mad Love had some good ideas. It wasn't perfect. There is just no trust here. There is no trust with DC anymore. It feels like they write these gay, crazy characters to pull us in and then just sell out to the normie bullshit in order to cash in on their shitty IPs at the end of the day. And as a DC fan, as a Gaga fan, as a person that is so clearly represented in these texts, whether DC or I like it, it just sucks. And it's not just this film. Like I said, I'm gonna have to record an entirely separate video. But I mean, DC are in such shit right now that they've made Wonder Woman pro-war, and they have some of the worst standards of employment of any Hollywood company, Warner Brothers and DC. And I have to make a whole nother video about it, and Jesus Christ, who wants to hear that? But it's just, it has to be said, right? I love DC too much to let them get away with butchering everything. To let them get away with half-arsed attempts at placating an audience that has kept their head above water when they definitely don't deserve it. Anyway, my name is Mage. This has been Black and White Thinking. This was a really over-the-top personal rant about mostly why I hate Joker, the movie, which it wasn't supposed to be. It was supposed to be more about Gaga, but I guess the reason I don't want Gaga in that film is because I don't like Joker. Thanks for being here. If you got to the end, God knows how. Thank you. My name is Mage, and I'm out.